Hey beautiful, welcome back to the Self-Love Garden. I'm your host Ana Marquez and I am a self-love and body image coach. Today we are going to be having a cozy tea chat where I'm going to be sharing my personal journey of starting meditation and how it has changed my life for the better, along with why I think it's such an important practice for anybody on a self-love journey. I want to quickly share that I have a really exciting free course in my website called How to Love Your Body in 3 Days that I'll link in the description below, where I will be sharing a new lesson every single day along with journal prompts and guided meditations. So if one of your goals for 2023 is loving your body a little bit more or developing some self-care practices, then this is for you. I would love for you to join me there. Now go ahead and steep yourself some tea or grab a beverage of your choice and let's get cozy. Whew, that is so hot. I'm gonna take a sip of tea and just try to chill out, y'all. I wanted to share more about why I started meditating, how it has changed my life for the better, and how it can be a really, really great tool for anybody who is going on a self-love journey or just in general wants to improve their mental health and their well-being. I personally was really skeptical about meditation because the word that surrounded meditation was mindfulness, and I have a history of anxiety and depression, so the word mindfulness honestly scared the hell out of me. I wanted to be outside of my mind. I wanted to do anything possible to retreat from my mind because my mind was such a war zone and it was so scary to be in. I didn't start meditating until I was 22. And when I started, I had been in probably the deepest depression I'd ever been in for about a year. I was having extreme anxiety. I had just got done working 3 different jobs nonstop, working minimum wage, like on food stamps, doing long distance with my boyfriend, now husband, Christian, and it was just a horrible time to say the least. I was not well. I was having a really challenging time in life, and I think this is something a lot of people go through after graduating college. This was after the year after I had graduated college, and it was just a lot, y'all. One of the reasons that I was so deeply and incredibly anxious at that time was because the future was so uncertain, and that scared the living shit out of me. I had no idea how to deal with that level of uncertainty, and it caused absolute havoc in my world. It wasn't fun, but I got through it, and it helped me develop a lot of self-love tools that I still use to this day. One of those tools being meditation. So like I said, I was really freaked out by meditation at first because of the word mindfulness associated with it, but the change came one summer. It was the summer of 2016. My husband and I, Christian, we were trying to figure out what our next steps were. So we moved in with his parents, and we're just taking some time to get on our feet a little bit. It was the first chance I had had in quite some time, really just to myself, and I was so hungry for getting well. I was so hungry to feel good in my own skin, to feel safe in my mind, and I thought, you know what? Screw it. I'm going to try meditation. This is what everyone is raving about. Let's just give it a go. So I remember every single morning I'd go down to my in-laws' basement and take 10 minutes for myself. I actually started by downloading the Headspace app, which was great, and this is not a sponsored plug at all, but that is what I started with because they had a free trial for X amount of days, and I didn't have any money. Like I said, I had been working minimum wage, I was on food stamps, like I didn't have money to spend, so I had to get creative with my self-love tools. So I would download all these free trials. So I downloaded the free trial of Headspace, and every single day I would go down to the basement and listen to the voice. I think the guy who narrates it, his name is Andy. I think he's English and has the most wonderful, soothing accent. And I just focused so deeply on his words. What I remember most that really stuck with me was the way that he guided me through meditation was to encourage me to picture myself. Oh, you know what? I hope that you cannot hear my heat coming through. That's gonna be a real bummer if you can. I just remember him through the meditation, not only guiding me to tune into my breath, but to draw up a visualization of myself sitting on a mountain and visualizing my thoughts passing by me as though they were clouds. And I remember what I really clung to was this idea that he shared of just watch your thoughts pass by as clouds, and if you find yourself getting attached to any one of those clouds, just bring yourself back to that mountain and let it go. You don't need to attach yourself to every single thought that passes by. And the other message I really remember taking away from that was that I was not my thoughts. And contrary to what I thought mindfulness was, which was just being in my mind, I learned that mindfulness was really about taking an observer's view to my thoughts and learning that my thoughts did not define me. And I have to say, as somebody who, again, I've experienced anxiety or some degree of anxiety since I was probably 9 years old. I'm 29 now, so that's 20 years. It was such a relief to have that perspective. It helped me disconnect from all of the intrusive thoughts and negative thoughts. Now, I don't want to say that this happened overnight. It didn't at all. It is a practice for a reason. But slowly over time, each day that I would sit down and do the meditation, I could feel myself let those words sink in and allow myself to truly feel and believe that I was not my thoughts. That was so powerful. I think the Headspace app that I had at that time, it was a trial of maybe like 2 weeks or so. And so once the trial ended, I was still really eager to keep learning how to meditate and to expand on this practice, because even within that short amount of time, it was helping me soothe my body so much. I knew that even if I was so anxious throughout the day and was so uncertain about my life, I knew that those 10 minutes would bring me a semblance of peace. Learning how to meditate and building up that tool and practicing every day, what it did is it allowed me to really connect with the present moment. Honestly, that was such a tremendous relief from the burden of having to try to figure everything out. That's one thing that, if you're on a journey of self-love or you're trying to improve your mental health, that you probably hear a lot, right? There's a lot of self-help and self-improvement advice out there that's like, remember to stay in the present, connect with the present. And oh my God, I would literally get so annoyed when I would hear that, because I'd be like, what? Like, Are you freaking kidding me? How can I stay present when my world feels like it's falling apart all the time? How can I stay present when I don't know how I'm going to pay for my groceries next week? How can I stay present when I'm dealing with a traumatic past and trying to figure that out? How can I stay present when I don't know where my relationship is going, right? This is where my mind was at. So I would get so annoyed. I think that's why I was annoyed with that advice about being present, was because it was almost made sometimes from this assumption that if you were present, you would be happy. And I wasn't happy at that time. So that was a really difficult thing to try to confront, because it was like, if I'm present, that means I have to confront everything. And that's not happy stuff to confront. And through meditation, I learned that being present was not about being happy and forcing joy or forcing feelings or forcing a certain emotion that I wasn't feeling. It was simply about allowing myself to be with whatever I was feeling at that moment. It was simply learning how to connect with my body, with my breath, so that I could keep taking one step in front of another and not completely fall apart. It taught me that as long as I was breathing, as long as I could connect with my breath, that I always had a level of power in my life, because I could have choice. It taught me that no matter what was happening in my life, I had choice as long as I was breathing. I could learn how to breathe deeply, and I had a choice. Do I want to continue exhaling? Do I want to inhale a little more? Do I want to send a breath to the parts of my body that feel pain? Do I want to keep a shallow breath? Do I want to hold my breath? And it just allowed me to have choice in these small moments that then built up over time and really became big moments. How meditation has improved my life is that instead of staying in my mind, meditation is actually one of the biggest tools that I developed to really help me connect with my body. Learning how to alter my breathing, learning how to focus on my breathing, actually took me out of this anxious space and allowed me to feel through the rest of my body. It allowed me to bring awareness and sensation to my feet and my legs and my chest and my neck and my tummy and all these different parts of me. And what it did, what I later learned, is that through deep breathing, through meditation, what you're actually doing is you're igniting what's called the parasympathetic nervous system. And this is also known as the rest and digest system. So this is what we need in order to calm down, right? The other system is called the sympathetic nervous system. That's the fight or flight. That's what was developed for us for our own survival, to help us escape from, lions and, find food and all of this. And it's that survival mode. But what happens is that we haven't fully evolved away from that. So even simple things like getting a notification on our phone, getting an email, getting a phone call, somebody cutting us off in traffic. These are all things that can still ignite the sympathetic nervous system, that fight or flight. So it's really important to balance that out, to know how to ignite our parasympathetic nervous system. And the best and easiest and most accessible way to do that is through meditation. I started meditating at a time where I was extremely financially unstable, and I did not have money really to spend on fancy skincare or massages or things like that. So learning how to use my breath really gave me a lot of power, because it allowed me to have that tool no matter how much money I made, how scarce things were, or what I was going through, or where I was, it allowed me to have access to a tool that was deeply self-healing, regardless of my income, regardless of my status, or anything like that. I know that when you're in a place of high anxiety or high uncertainty and don't know where to start, or just feel like your world is crumbling apart, it feels so ridiculous to hear somebody say, like, start meditating. Like, I know I would get so annoyed with that, but I truly mean it when I say that it's changed my life for the better. And not only did it help me through that time of deep anxiety and depression and uncertainty, but it's not that it's only helped me overcome and cope with those really difficult things. It's also really helped me to elevate my level of connection to my body, elevate my happiness, and it's really increased the potency, the positive potency of my relationships. And the reason behind that is because what you'll learn, and what I've learned over time with meditating consistently and learning how to connect with the breath, is that you start carrying the experiences and tools and lessons that you learn through meditation into the rest of your life. So for example, something that I would get consistently really, really worked up over and really overwhelmed by and would just shut down was like the conversation of money. And it would just work me up. And having a partner, having a husband who I've been with for the last 11 years, I had to learn how to talk about money with him. And the first several conversations we had, I would usually just shut down and be like, I don't want to talk to you, I'm walking away now, blah, blah, blah. But as time moved on, I truly think that the lessons I learned through meditation helped me with those hard conversations, because it allowed me to, when I was in a difficult moment, when I was in that fight or flight moment, it taught me how to take deep belly breaths to move through that moment of tension and anxiety. Or it allowed me to communicate to my partner, hey, you know what, I'm getting a little bit worked up right now, can we take just 10 minutes? And I would, go on a walk and take some deep breaths, or I would step aside and take some deep breaths and come back to it when I was feeling more settled. So it's really something that has allowed me to navigate difficult conversations and improve my relationships as well, because it's allowed me to let go of unwelcomed thoughts that I might have of, comparison or judgment or negativity, and has just really allowed me to learn how to be present with my emotions and also the emotions of others as well, because it allows me to stay grounded in my body and connected with myself while holding space for whatever I am experiencing. It's powerful, y'all. It really is a game changer, and I have to say, I noticed a difference within 7 days, but try it for yourself, see what works for you. I know some people that they still don't fully connect with meditation, and that's okay. There's a lot of ways to connect with your breath. I love going for walks. I love doing yoga. But I will also say, if this is a practice that you want to try, just give it a go. Start slowly, do what's manageable, start with what's free and see how you connect with it. And then if you have trouble sitting still, like, I know this is probably the number one thing that I hear from my friends or people who are starting is like, yeah, I want to try it, but I can't sit still. And listen, I have ADHD. I know the feeling of not being able to sit still. My advice to you would be to don't force yourself to sit still. If you feel like you need to move a little bit while you meditate, that's okay. I am not strict with myself when I meditate and force myself to sit super still. I know that's contrary to many of the primary teachings of meditation, but listen to your body. Actually, I have a free 3-day mini course on my website. I'll link it below, of 3 days to love your body, and the first lesson is actually listening to your body, and it comes with a really great meditation. So sign up below if you want to. I'll put the link there, but listen to your body. Don't force yourself to be in a way that it doesn't want to be. If you are meditating and you need to like stretch or even stand up or bend your knees or walk, then do that. Listen to your body. You might even find on YouTube walking meditations, things like that. Don't constrict yourself. Do what works for you and do what feels good for you. Meditation is something that I like to do every single day, every single morning. It is part of my morning routine. If I miss it, I don't beat myself up about it. And I know that if I miss it in the morning, I can always practice in the afternoon. If I am running late and I don't have 10 minutes, I just meditate for 2 minutes, and that's okay. Go easy on yourself, be gentle with yourself, and remember that you always have choice. Remember that you have the opportunity and you have the power to choose what works best for you. This is something that works for me. Give it a go. If it doesn't work for you, I encourage you to find something else that does. We're all on our own self-love journey, and the more tools that we each find and explore and share with one another, the better. I'm rooting for you in your self-love journey and wherever you're at. And if you're at a place where things feel really uncertain or scary, or you're feeling anxious, I just want to remind you that things can absolutely always get better. Things have gotten so much better for me since that stage in my life where I was going through a lot of difficulty, and I just want to encourage you to keep returning to your self-love practices. Remember that self-love is an action, it's a verb, it's not just a feeling. So even on days when you're not fully feeling great or in love with yourself or happy or motivated, know that you can always take actions that are self-loving. And if that means meditation, try that. If that means something else, do that. I'm so cheering for you, and I'm sending you so much love. Bye. Thank you so much for joining me here for my very first tea chat. I hope you enjoyed it and it brought you a little cozy comfort in your day. If you enjoyed it, please hit that like button and be sure to subscribe to my channel to be the first to know when new videos drop. I can't wait to see you again here, and until then, I hope you have a wonderful day.